We're speaking of an emergency situation. Yes, there has been a significant increase. Why has there been a significant increase in people in refugee-like situations arriving in Greece and Italy in particular, and especially in Greece over the last part of last year and the beginning of this year? Well, if you look at, according to the statistics, where most of them coming from, I think about 80% come from 5 countries: Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Eritrea, and I think the 5th largest is from a couple of the barely functioning Balkan states. Now, if you look at 4 of those, you're clearly looking at countries that are at war, have been at war. And if you look at Syria, and we're talking about cities, you look at pictures of almost any Syrian city today, and they can only remind you of Dresden after the firebombing in 1943-44. Completely destroyed. So of course people have to leave. What's destroying them? Well, of course one can say it's a civil warfare. But if you look at the arms being provided, if you look at the armed intervention, including by EU member states, if you look at the support for belligerent groups on the ground, you're looking at the involvement of European Union states, the US, other Western states, the Russian Federation, and so on, in direct engagement in warfare that is destroying the habitat and destroying city habitats of where people live today. And if we're talking about addressing the causes and consequences, it seems to me that the place to start, if we really want to resolve the problems and reduce the current emergency and prevent future mass movements, large movements of people that move in mass because they have no choice, then we also need to be looking at the mega-state policies in terms of seeking negotiated peaceful solutions to conflict situations, withdrawing arms and reducing, if not stopping, arms sales, and so on. Now, maybe that's a bit, in an armed world, a bit of a pie-in-the-sky approach, but if at the same time we're serious about development, if we're serious about governance, if we're serious about human rights, if we're serious about providing for a future for the people on this planet, then the place to start is stopping the destruction of our habitat and stopping the warfare that is producing huge numbers of people who would not move if they didn't have to and they had something to stay home and a roof over their heads and a job to provide for themselves in the land that is where their roots are.